welcome. I'm glad to have you here. I have to press go live on my laptop here. It looks like the stream has started, and we already have a brand new member who just joined in. Courtney, I see you in the chat before we even started live. Thank you. That's super dope. Love to see it. Love to see the growth. This is amazing. Boom. Okay, I see we are officially up live. All right, great. So I'm going to switch my view here so you can see both of us now. Unless you go on a rant, then I might just switch you back over and be like, yo, you got to do what you got to do. So, with that being said, Neeraj, tell me, did I pronounce your name properly? I've been practicing it.
Yes, you did. It is Neeraj, sir. It is Neeraj.
Okay, Neeraj. Super dope. Where you checking in from, homie?
I'm in Sacramento, California, USA. Coming into
you in the
middle
north.
of the day.
You in the north. I used to live in San Diego. I knew you were in Cali. I didn't know where. I didn't know what part. So that's kind of cool to see you up in the north.
Yes, sir. You look mighty fly.
What is spirituality like in the north of California, man? I mean, I know more about the south, but what's the north like? Is it relevant? Are they hip? Are they on like the rest of the West Coast, or is it what's up? Tell me the truth.
I feel like if you go to a place like Austin, Texas, you're gonna have like those spiritual communities in little places, and it's gonna be more widespread. But in my city, in my experience, the people who know, they know, and if they're vocal about it, they will be. But it's not something that's widely broadcasted and accepted yet. That is one of my jobs to do here.
Hey, look, I'm happy you said it like that. That's one of your jobs because it takes a certain responsibility to just accept and embrace that. So with that being said, like, yo, tell us, like, how did you come across? How did you become the great connector? And before you do, I want to let everybody know, the viewers in here, not only should you go ahead and put that thumbs up, hit the likes button, obviously, but if you want to join as membership, you see we had Courtney, a new member. I just want to give her some love. Thank you. She came from Abundant Reality here. That's amazing to see. So as we kind of get into it, I want to let people know, I want to give Neeraj more time to really share a little bit about his background journey and why you might care to listen about this Elemental Magick. I found Neeraj on Instagram actually through the Peace Dealer, believe it or not. He shared one of your videos and I saw it. I went there and I saw this avatar state and I was like, cool. I was like, the avatar state, like literally it just got me that excited. Astrology has each of those affinities that you speak about, though they don't mention ether much. Essentially, it's also assumed in its own way that when a 12 hit, you have that ether, or you also got other signs like Pisces, who just naturally embody the ether element. Air signs naturally embody some of that ether element. So we'll kind of get into that as we dig deeper. But I just want to let y'all know, Elemental Magick is one of the things you're going to better be able to, by time, I'm going to let Neeraj tell us more so, but what I'm feeling into, all right, because I'm a feeler, you know me enough. I'm feeling into the fact that you're going to better be able to understand your affinity, okay, and what are the abilities of your affinity. When I say your affinity, I mean whether you're primarily fire, right? Like I have 3 fires in my chart, right? Sun, Moon, and Mercury. It's a lot of fire. So like, what are the pluses? What are the advantages of that fire? As well as, in reverse, where may that fire fall short on its own, and where might the combination of another affinity do and play well for us? So I'm hoping, that's my guess, I'm hoping that we'll be able to clarify some of that, and then I can, tandem with you. But what should they expect, Neeraj? Tell me from your perspective. Like you're the expert on here today. What should people expect from you?
Okay. Well, in a nutshell, you guys, what we're looking at is very similar to the astrological signs. There's a reason why there's earth, air, water, and fire signs. We're going to get into that. And, the astrotherapist knows everything about that. So we are going to go back and forth. We're going to get it in. But I think it's important to know the reason why those signs have these labels on them is because they represent a certain type of energy. You think about the element of fire. What do you think about? Rage, power, passion, intensity, flame, life, truth, transmutation. You think of water. What do you think about? Vibes, flowy, essence, feeling, emotion. And there's all these different kind of characteristics that belong to each different element. And these elements are the building blocks of us. These elements are the building blocks of our universe. And this is how we think, this is how we feel, this is how we live. If you understand the elements correctly, and more importantly, your personal combination of your elements inside of you, then you get to decide and discern how you want to live your life in accordance with your rhythm, with your design and your blueprint. That's why we love astrology. It's our blueprint, and it's a moving blueprint. It tells you how you do things. The same thing is for the elements. You understand that? You understand a lot about who you are and how you work.
Right. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear all that. I want to hear all that. All that. So we're going to switch it back. Okay, so how did you become the Great Connector, and what is the Great Connector about? And I just want people to know a little bit more about you as we kind of like dive in deep.
Man, to tell you the truth, the best things in life happen when they just catch you off guard. That's like my truth right there. So I actually didn't really come up with the name The Great Connector. It just kind of hit me. And I found out that it's basically what I've always been doing. My role and my job as a person ever since birth, the way that I think. The Great Connector is an analogy to how I think and how I see life. For me, I'm always building maps.
Tell us your top three, bro. You got a big astrology base on here. What's your top three? Because I'm hearing zodiac signs already. I'm hearing it by just what you're saying. What's your top three?
Sagittarius sun. Sagittarius sun all day. Yep. Moon in Libra. Gemini rising.
Moon is in Libra.
Yes, sir.
And Gem rising. Okay, yeah. So this is definitely that flow. Thank you. Hit the thumbs up. Drop some emojis down in the chat. Oh, matter of fact, I think I made this one members only. So if you're a member, drop some of those cool ass emojis.
Let's go.
So that's super dope. Actually, so my progress chart this year, natally I am a Scorpio rising, but my progress chart this year, I am a Gem rising. So, there goes the connection there. I've seen you do that mantra here and there, and people on this channel love to learn. What is that mantra?
This one?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know. I just do whatever I feel like.
Wait. Did you do this?
I do a lot of them. I do a lot of them. I got this. Okay. I got this one. I have this one. I got so there's so many. It just whatever the energy is, it animates your hands in a certain way.
This is the truth. And I'm only asking out of personal curiosity because I want to learn more about the mantras myself. Like, yeah, they always slip me here and there. I know this one for sure is the power mantra. I do know that.
That's right.
Yeah. They use this in like FBI interrogations and shit. Like they want to like let you know, like, hey, you're in trouble, little guy. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Shireen? Happy to see you up in the chat. So with that said, Neeraj, give it to us, man. Help us with this great connection, right? You got the Libra moon, you got the Gemini rising. You're here as a Sagittarius. That's that big picture, that big map vision already with the Sag. So help us connect the energies of fire with water. Okay. I know people are always curious, right? Like, how does fire and water mix, right? Like, air and water. Okay. What does these two affinities in combination look like? But maybe we start at the base. Maybe we started at like an affinity on its own. And like, what are some of the key words to that affinity? And I'll let you take that.
This is interesting. To start off, everything that I do is through my lens of Sagittarius, which is fire, philosophy, wisdom, big picture, map. Like basically that's my role. And that's why I call myself the Great Connector, because this is how I think. I put everything together in this ever building web of understanding and knowledge, this ever expanding web, this map of life. It's like a big blueprint. I'm here to build a sort of divine blueprint that can encompass everything in life, in every arena, in every vibrational aspect, every frequency. And it's a big job. It's a very big job to do. Of course, I'm not alone, but that's my vision, is to create a map or a model of reality that can scope every single part of reality. So understanding the elements is really, really powerful here. And I'll tell you why my thing is called the Avatar State Initiative. If you guys have seen Avatar, The Last Airbender, this is a cool show that inspired this. You'll notice that Avatar, Aang, he's the guy with the tattoos and the glowing blue eyes. He has been given the power to wield all four elements, earth, air, water, and fire, versus the other people in the kingdom can only rule whatever element they're born into, whether that be just fire or just earth or just water or air. And when the avatar learns how to combine all of these elements together, he accesses what's called the avatar state. Now, the avatar state is what I understand as merging you with the higher self. When the higher self can be embodied in your physical form, you have the avatar state. This goes back to the root of avatar in the ancient Hindu sciences, the avatar being the reincarnation of the god of creation. So the avatar state is the peak human capacity. And the avatar state is actually open to everybody. But the best and easiest way to get there is to balance the correct combination for your personal assignment of elements. Whatever affinity you have and the different types of affinities that you have, you want to master those in the correct combination for you. And that will create the ability to have the avatar state or the higher self fully active online all the time. Yes, it is a work in progress, but there are points you can reach where you no longer have to dip down from higher self to lower self. It'll just be higher self all the time. And that's where we want to go. That's the process of enlightenment. Avatar state is synonymous with enlightenment. And like you have these people like the Buddha or other crazy enlightened figures, they are the avatar state for themselves. And that's what we all here to do on Earth as humans, especially us who understand the game of light work, the game of doing the shadow work and expressing evolution, human evolution, our soul's essence. So that's a groundwork for how this is. That's what the avatar state is. It's merging with the higher self. It's full evolution of the human being. And we do that through many ways, but primarily through mastering the elements. And the way you do that for you is going to be different from the next person.
Always.
Yes.
Always, 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 always. Wow. Okay. So I got questions. All right. And one of them is coming from when I think it was 2021, we had, and I'm curious, maybe this, you're Sagittarius, so like maybe you can tell us how 2021 was in general, like just as a general theme. Sag went in the South Node, right? And so it was like all themes Sagittarian were like on the back burner, and then Gemini took the front, right? Because Gemini is now in the North Node. So it's like, so for the people listening, this is basically like guru, spiritual advisor, you know, the one person fits all kind of theme was like that Sag. It was almost like, because Sag is also like religious, like God, if you will, part of it, the entry into God, like man's like, oh yeah, get that out. We sneezing on some demons today. Yeah, that was demon sneeze right there.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yo, that's something I just had. Hey, what's up, Aisha? Good to see you up in the chat. We're gonna help you understand the elements today. So it was like, and welcome to our new members. We got a couple of them joining in. Shireen, I see you, girl. Happy to have you. And the North Node of Gemini was like last year, 2021, and we had some eclipses right to finish the year, a Gemini eclipse, right finishing the year in December. And it was like this like completion, quote unquote, of us like actually doing a lot of what you just said, which was diversifying information, not putting any one thing, any one piece of faith into, doesn't matter who you consider God, whether it was Jesus or Buddha, it didn't matter who, but respecting that we can have our philosophy and the next person can have their philosophy and none would ever topple over the left or the right. And in fact, that it was not about the philosophy in its own at all. It was about the learning, the consistent and constant learning. And the only reason I kind of bring this up for the people listening as well was like, to just like make sure we weave back and forth to make sure we flow. And as a part of that flow, today is a prime example for me. I'm in it's Leo moon, right? And what many I feel like don't remember about Leo was the lion can be very lazy. Lions really just sit the fuck around all day. Like in all sincerity, if they're not hunting, which they don't overhunt, right? Like they only take what they need. Even as the king of the jungle, they're like, there's a certain pact in the animal kingdom. They only take what they need. But for me today, let's say, for example, Leo is a natural channel. It's one of the psychic abilities of Leo as an archetype itself. It's channeling. But in the moon is private. So channeling and, being that egocentric, narcissistic version that people love to believe that Leo is, which is not. It's a misconception, okay? I'm doing a prejudice series, so y'all gonna see that coming, all right? I didn't get to Leo yet, but my point is, today is a day where, as an open channel, I naturally am. When this moon is here today, I'm like, channels are off. I don't want a channel. So I'm saying that to make sure we also address, like, okay, let's say we achieve the connected state, right? If we're all aiming to always be connected online all the time, not online through media, but like online with ourselves, our higher consciousness. Well, do you feel that it's sustainable to be online with our higher self, our higher consciousness, where we don't have to necessarily tread, let's say, to the depths of our soul or even to the lights of our being? Is there, and I'm saying that from a standpoint of like really opening conversation, knowing for me, myself, today, specifically today, I'm like, man, I'm choosing a lazy line approach. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Salud in Espanol. I'm choosing a lazy line approach. So what do you have to contribute from that point there? Like, and I'm just opening.
It's a great point. I'm experiencing it right now. For what I talked about being online all the time, you're not always going to be online, but there is a time where you just don't perceive going into the depths and the lower vibrations as something that takes you offline. That's the thing. You will go through the ups and downs of life because that is what gives the context for life. That's what it is. However, you don't have to close yourself off to any of it. And that's actually what allows you to stay online, is when you can surf the waves of the ups and downs rather than being caught up in them. A lot of people have this idea that you can be online all the time, but they're trying to attach too hard to the high states, getting high off of your energy, of these connected online states. And that's really addicting. I'm not gonna lie. I do this all the time. I do it all the time. But the truth is that it's not sustainable because that's not how the universe works. The universe is not working, like the blueprint is not linear. It's not, I'm gonna get online and stay there. It doesn't really work like that. Okay. So it's more of an experiential thing. But I think the lazy lion approach is completely fine. And when the lion needs to roar, he will. It doesn't have to be forced. It does not have to be forced. When the lion needs to roar, he does. So I think today's a great day to chill and a great day to bring the energy when it's necessary.
And sometimes I just yawn.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes it ain't even got to be a roar. Sometimes you know. The reason I say it is like, all right, like if we see lion as the king of the jungle, right? Like, and that's an if, right? Anybody can play controversy with that. But it's like, why does it always maintain that position? And I feel like what it comes to in that moment is like, the lion doesn't need to walk, roar, yawn, or do anything other than it wants to do. It's generally never in danger if it chooses to just be. Right? And I say be where I was living in Asia for a long time, and it's like, I like that, riding the wave rather than getting consumed and caught up in the wave. And a lot of it too, when I was learning, it's like it's about basically, ironically, like being a lion, right? This is ironic because I wasn't even really trying to go there. Ironically, being a lion and laying on that middle line, understanding that, you know, there's a certain, it's almost like in that connected state, part of the connection is the acceptance of the feminine and the masculine. So the divine feminine, the divine masculine. And on the divine feminine day, for example, let's say, which the moon is that divine feminine as one example, right? Clean, clear cut. The moon is a divine feminine energy, Cancer related, loves to stay private, has its own defense mechanisms. You now have Leo, the king, being in a sense caressed and encompassed by the queen, by his woman. Almost just like the lion is just sitting in it, and the lion's not bigger than the moon, right? And the moon is like rest. The moon is like, look, I don't actually ever roar. I know that you, as a lion, can roar. It's not my argument. It's just that, well, here you don't need to. It's kind of like that divine feminine siren energy with mermaids bringing in sailors. It's kind of like, hey, look, king, take it easy. Because here, water is our affinity, right? Like it's water. Moon's going back to the feminine water. So now it's receptivity, it's magnetism, it's my prey coming to me. If I even am hungry, my prey is coming to me in a way. Like, when I say that, this almost you ever seen movies where it's like, and I'm gonna get back on track now with the affinities. I'm gonna get back on track with the affinities because we just went all like theoretical philosophy, you know. But imagine those movies where villagers will sacrifice animals to their gods, let's say, up front, so that they don't receive wrath, right? And it kind of has that same being that connected state. It's like honoring that there's a masculine and feminine counterpart. It's a feminine in this instance. If I don't need to assert and go after something, it's like, look, let me bring it. It reminds me of that, like that sacrificial moment of like, you got villagers bringing whatever. They bring all types of shit, right? Sometimes it's soda with a straw. I've seen candy like eaten out of a box. Like the what matters less. But yeah, that's just me and my mind all over the place, quite frankly. So let's get back into the affinities. What element would you like to start with?
I believe fire is a great place to start.
Okay, let's hit it. Fire it is. So we're gonna hit fire. Bang, I'm time stamping it right now. Voila.
Ooh.
So we'll be able to try to find this later. What's the time on this? Okay, 22:10. Okay, boom, 22:10. Ready. Give us the fire. I've time stamped it, so later when people want to find it, they will.
Mm-hmm.
So what is fire?
Well, we should start out with the cliche. Fire is life.
Mm-hmm.
Fire is what animates things. It's the principle of creation. They say that fire is life's force. It is the spark. When somebody has a lot of fire, they're very passionate. They're very alive. They're very enthusiastic. Why? Because they're involved. They're here. They're fully present. They have this energy, this spark to them. And now fire can get out of control. It can burn stuff down. Fire can also heat food. It can keep you warm. I think the best things in life, and all of the elements, mind you, I think all of them are actually destructive and creative. And fire in and of itself is what represents animation, life, creation, movement, truth, because life and truth are synonymous. And, going back to like the fire and the phoenix burns itself within the fire, becomes cleansed, and then is rebirthed through the fire. Fire is what creates transformation, movement, forwardness. It's what creates aliveness and newness. These are the principles that are governing fire. Now, there's a lot of different aspects to it and how fire can be used, but that's the essence of it. What do you think about that?
I mean, as a fire sign, I'm loving it. And it's a reminder that I've had recently. Matter of fact, when it comes to remembering that I'm an Aries, and there's these transits, right? We got Chiron and Aries. It's been there for years. I look back at a chart from like 2018, and it was still there, and it's 2023. Years, right? And so there's this long-term healing journey of me, myself, as a bunch of Aries as well. So, but one of the things that came back to me was, holy crap, Pernell, like, did you ever really stop to think longer about why is the sun exalted in Aries and not Leo? And I had to remind myself, I was like, oh crap, like, all right, wait. Don't get caught so much in the learning of material consistently that it's like, I'm not applying it where it matters most, which is on me. Right? Like, and so when you said life and like the creation energy, it was like, oh shit, Aries is the head, it's the start of the morning, right? It's the east rising. So it's like, we're the first one to pop our head through. This is literally like the movement generated through the type of firepower that can essentially blast a rocket. Okay, drop the rocket emojis in the chat. Blast a rocket from the ground up, not when it's already halfway in the sky making its way to space. The amount of force and inertia that it takes to blast off of the ground to get yourself into space. That's the first life, being Aries. And it's like, it's very hard, if I'm being honest, for me to even remotely begin to quantify for myself. So it's like, or even qualify, I want to say more so for myself. It's like, what does that mean to be the first spark? Like the thing that can take a rocket off the ground. Like, I like, Pernell, what does it mean for me as a human to have that much energy in my body? And do I feel like that right now, or do I not? Do I feel capable of such a blast or not? And it's like, I feel like it's going to be a new question I'm going to kind of ask myself every morning, right? Because it's like, that'll help me understand, where am I really directing that amount of force? Because there's a lot of math that goes into a rocket blasting off. It's a lot of math, right? Like, you can't just blast off. So it reminds me of what I've been doing a lot of, which is that much more planning, that much more math, right? That much more writing down. I'm already over here. I'm like 2210, we're going fire. So I'm not going to look through this video later and wonder, where's the fire intro? So I'm here to help people learn, right? So it's like, they want to learn about fire. They came here for the fucking 5 elements of the avatar state. Where's fire? Right? And this is a part of that blast off. This is a prime example. Like, it took math. It took me to write down some things and calculate it, so we don't mess up. Essentially, like, do it right the first time, so that one blast off is focused. And it's what is creating a more accurate representation of life. If you say fire, of how I assert myself in my life.
Perfect.
So thank you. What if anything, you mind if I timestamp a weakness? What is the weaknesses of fire?
That's exactly what I was going to go to. Let's do this right now. Timestamp that.
26:34. Okay, ready.
The weaknesses of fire. The most easy to understand is that it is forward movement, like Aries. It's the first one. It's the ignition. It is what catalyzes everything else. That's why Aries, fire, is the first zodiac sign. But also, it's pure spark energy. Fire is pure energy. It is not containable. It is not directed. It is simply the energy of intensity. It's the energy of will. It's the energy of intention and creation. But that intention and creation has not been guided yet, which means fire will consume anything in its way that it can burn, anything that feeds the fire, anything at all. Fire doesn't care. And if the fire is big enough, it'll eat anything. Doesn't matter what the material is. Fire can melt metals. It can burn grass. It can burn people. It can boil water to nothingness. It can turn water into air. It can take air and burn it into a vacuum. Fire is equal creation as it is destruction. And that's why yin and yang are connected, is because the polar opposites are actually the same principle. Creation and destruction are one. And fire represents the primordial, aka the first principle of creation, pure raw power. That's the weakness of fire, is that left to its own devices without the help of the other elements, it will consume everything. In order to have life, you must consume life. The spark of life and the continuation of life requires consumption of something. You can't have nothing and into something. You can't have something from nothing. Even when they say like the Big Bang, something came from nothing, or like that kind of thing, regardless of what you believe, they just take that idea. You need something to spark the fire to start it. And once it's started, you have to feed it to continue it. So that's what we're talking about here. The weakness of fire is that left to its own devices, it will either wither out and die, or it will consume everything in its wake. And it's not directed with intelligence of precision. It's just raw power. It's just all brawn, no brains. Okay. Yeah. So that's what's important. And we can transition that into air at any time you'd like, because that would be my natural progression.
No, absolutely. I see people pretty much right in agreement with you. I'm just going to let you take a second to take your breath. I see them right in agreement. Thank y'all for being in the chat. Thank y'all for hitting those blast off emojis. I'm dropping his link once again right here. All right. I will, as soon as he starts talking, I'll drop his link so you could check out what his page looks like. You could check him on Instagram. Honestly, Neeraj is dropping content on Instagram daily. Okay.
That's a day.
Like he's literally pumping content. It's ridiculous. And it's very positive. It's very informative. Okay, everybody knows he's a Sagittarius. You right now have two Sagittarius on channel. All right. When he started talking, notice I'm having to like reel him back a little bit. I'm like, yo, all right. I'm gonna let you hit this air, but let me let you get your breath. So this is that tag team duo in the moment. It's like two fire signs. You see the potential of what happens when you can control it, right? In its own way. And I don't even want to say control, but like, because I don't like the word in the moment. It's when you can really optimize and create a higher level of efficiency, with the energy of fire. So definitely check his channel. I'm gonna drop his Instagram as soon as he starts talking. I'm gonna give him the mic. All right, and here we go, homie. Air.
All righty.
Got air on the map.
Now, air, as we know, is what feeds fire. Can't have fire without air. That's why that's why fire doesn't exist in space in a vacuum. It's because to have something to burn, you need to burn something. And that's air. Our stars are made of air, hydrogen, compressed, explosion, constant burn. That hydrogen is gas, it's air. Then there's heavier elements of air like hydrogen and helium and oxygen that continue the burn in different ways. Everything is birthed through fire and air. That's the first thing. Even the earth itself, which is an earth element, has been birthed through combustion of fire in air in the center of a star. And then it becomes compressed and densified more and more till it becomes physical elements like iron, carbon, phosphorus, all the more physical, tangible elements. Now, it's important to know that none of the elements are exclusive. And there's one thing that I didn't actually fully actualize in the fire aspect is that fire rules will, your personal will. That's why the sun is your ego or yourself. That's who you're playing. That's the character you're playing. That is fire. I know the sun in and of itself isn't really associated with a fire sign, but the sun is fire. It is life itself and is burned through that air. So you create will. That's the spark. That's the God force, is your will. That's the fire. And then the fire is fed by your air, which is your mentality. Air is something that can't be grasped. You can't grab air. Yeah, you can contain it. You put it in a jar. Air is everywhere. You contain it. But air represents spontaneity. Air represents free-flowing, in-out, impulsive type of actions. You can think about this, think about that. Different ideas and images will flood into your mind. Air is mentality. That's the mental body. That's what air is ruled by. And then this air is what feeds your will. It's what feeds your passions. You first have a will, an intent. That's like the intent of God or the intent of the creation to make something happen. That's the fire, is the will to create. And then the will to create is fed by air, aka mentalities, stories, ideas, and identities. That is the element of air. And then you feed your will through that, and that feeds your creation. That makes fire burn big. You have a bigger will. That's how egotism is easily charged. You have somebody with a strong fire. If they're not controlling of their air, aka their ideas and their thoughts, they will inflate their will, inflate their ego. And ego is in the solar plexus. Ego is in the solar plexus, which is the fire chakra. So again, just great connecting all these things together. That's my job, is to hit it from all the angles. This is why the combination is so important. And in order to balance your air and your fire mix, you need the other elements too.
Can you, my man just, bro, that last part of how air fed fire, the intention feeds the will, the ego being really the center placed as well in the what did you say, solar ego? The solar plexus?
The solar plexus is the seat of your ego.
It's the seat or the seat?
Seat. Like chair.
So it's right where it sits. That makes a lot of sense, right? Like you're talking Manipura, city of hidden gems.
Yeah.
Right? You're familiar? So how does the ego being at the seat of the city of hidden gems hurt and help? And this is my question for you.
This is cool. I am channeling now because I've never thought about this before. The hidden gems, the city of hidden gems. So everybody knows that Oh, well, not everybody, but the truth is all knowledge is ultimately self-knowledge, according to Mr. Bruce Lee. And I think this is true. The city of hidden gems is the realm of wisdom, which is why the solar plexus also represents wisdom. Now, your personal will, your I am, your creation, that's you. Me, my will is in Sagittarius. That's my will. Yours is in Aries. Now, this will is what dictates how we move through life. And when our will is exacerbated, or maybe that's not the right word, when it is exalted, perhaps, and fed, then our will gets to feed on the maximum creation power of what we're capable of. I will max out my Sagittariusness. I will max out whatever it is in my will. And that's the city of hidden gems. That's the understanding of it, is that you use your ideas to further your will, which allows you to expand and do what you're supposed to do here on Earth. The bad part is when your ego operates alone without the operation of the higher self controlling things, then you will inflate the ego because it's your only means of understanding life. Your stomach is where your energy meets the energy of the world. The energy storage center is the chakra of fire. That's your solar plexus. That's where you sit all of your energy. And because energy is conscious, your ego sits in the place where there's the most energy. The reality is your identity is not only in your ego, in your solar plexus. That's only a part of your identity. Your true identity is in your higher self and beyond. So we need balance, but we're just talking about fire and air right now. The truth is that's where everything happens. And especially here on Earth, if you want to use your will on Earth, you have to really exalt your ego and your personal will. That's what allows you to move in this world. Maybe not in the higher dimensions, but in the Earth,
you have to exert your ego and your personal will.
Yep. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to use it on you, because that's the third density. That's what you have to do here. It's the third dimension, third chakra. That is what we are using to function in this world primarily. So people with strong egos in the past who haven't been conscious have been narcissistic and ruled the world through power and tyranny. However, it's not bad. That's just only operating off ego. When you only operate off ego, you're a ticking time bomb. That's a fire that's going to burn itself to crisps and everything around it. It's going to burn itself, take everything with it, and then die and fizzle out because you can't sustain fire by itself. So you need to be connected to greater parts of yourself and the other elements so you can access the totality of you.
He's telling the truth. I have been in my life in plenty of places, burnt the fuck up. I have burnt my body to a crisp, my mind, my soul at a point, even though it couldn't die, it still is not recommended. Okay. And there's so much into what he just said. Like, you know, if I think about the time living in Thailand, it's like, it's fucking hot in Thailand. It's hot in Playa del Carmen. I've had to learn that my body cannot sustain me as a natural fire. So much of it, I cannot sustain in hot climates. I can't do as much, quite frankly, because I wake up hot. I'm already hot. And so I just want to kind of make that. And I also want to say thank you. Thank you, Neeraj. You know, you're giving me a day off. You're hitting the channels. So I'm going to give it back to you. That was amazing, bro. You're giving me a day off. You're giving me literally what I needed. All right, here we go. We got 3820. We're going to hit, what's the next element?
Water.
Water. So you've did fire, air. Check the timestamps for all. Now we're at water. All right. Thank you. Let's get the. Oh wait, no. Did we say the weakness of
air? Oh, we did. We missed it. Damn it.
Oh no. So my bad. Let's scratch that. Okay, we're gonna do the weakness of air and hit me. Where's the weakness of air, my dude?
Well, think about it. Air is mentality, thoughts, ideas. What happens when you have too much air? You're now an overthinker. Now you're paranoid. And now you're using your air. Now your air, which is too out of control, is feeding unclean ideas into your fire, into your will. Now you have manifest your air via your fire. So you manifest bad ideas because you can't control your air. You manifest through fire. You're using your bad ideas to create bad outcomes, bad creations. So that could be anything that's out of alignment with truth and out of alignment with your personal self.
Would you say what's air related to chakra-wise?
I believe they say it's the heart, but yeah, they say it's the heart and ether is in the throat. Personally, I didn't really get it. I'm kind of stuck on that one, but I believe that is what they label it as. Yeah.
So the only way that I can make sense of that in the moment, because I'm not familiar with that specifically, is you breathe the air from the gut, from your will, down in the belly. Okay, that air breathes past the ego, past the solar plexus, and eventually has to get through the heart to get into the throat. So you could be in the esophagus, right? Like the windpipes and the trachea. So you can sing and belch the will. If you're a singer, you can belch what you're willed to do, whether it's healing through sound. That's the only reason I can imagine it, because most of the lower level inner chakras, they get stuck in the heart. They don't really make it past the heart. Like you can go all day back and forth in the lower chakras, and this is how we get caught in basically doing stupid human shit, right? Because we're only operating from our own personal ego and will, and cycling our creativity and our sexual energy. So now there's shitty sexual relationships and all the bad so far that we said, but it doesn't get past the heart. And the only way you can get past the heart is through breath work. Like you can accidentally get 1, 2, and 3, the red, orange, and yellow chakras at the bottom. You can like accidentally touch those just because you love life, or maybe you hate life and you still touch it. But you can't get past the heart chakra without the breath. Your breath, because your heart goes through so much resentment and healing that's required that you have to breathe life back into it, right? And that's how you then start accessing this throat and up. So I can see it, because as well, air is also naturally one of the closest affinities, air to ether as well. So just as the elements of the 4 elements themselves, air's in it. But hey, I'm back off.
That was perfect,
right,
my dude. That was a perfect explanation. You must carry the energy up into your heart via the air, via the breath. It makes perfect sense.
I do got this, and I'm going to finish them off in the solar plexus gem chakra. I think it was cool. I made it a long time ago. I have like if it's out of balance, imbalance, and also overreactive. And for Mani Pura, because we were talking about it. Actually, no, I'm gonna do the heart, because we're talking about the heart now. We already left the Mani Pura. The heart is out of balance. Heart, you're lacking empathy. You feel more bitter. There's hate, literally. There's no trust. And this one's critical. All right, we're in Scorpio season on the rise. Scorpio eclipse is coming in like 3-4 days. Today is like a Venus. You got a Venus Cazimi like right here, right now, like star point, Venus point. Yo, listen, I put the video up. I'll leave you alone. You find yourself intolerant if you're out of balance. And if you're in balance, you're feeling more peaceful, loving, warm, even compassionate. And you find yourself tolerant even. Now, being tolerant doesn't mean, you let it go overboard. But if you're overreactive now, which is different than being out of balance, with your heart chakra, if you're not doing breath work, literally if you're not doing breath work, or if you're not using that air to speak through your heart, excuse me, that's full confirmation. Somebody just got hit with an unconscious emotion. I said I wasn't gonna channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm off, okay? Listen, so we got jealous, codependent. This is hyperactive now, not out of balance. Jealous, codependent, self-sacrificing, or too giving.
Wow.
And that's that part of like taking tolerant to like being overreactive. Like if somebody don't want to say nothing, they want to be like, oh no, I didn't want to hurt your feelings because you were already hurting or some shit. And they become too giving, right? And so I wanted to kind of just share that for the heart and let you know, do some breath work. You're gonna need it during Scorpio season. It's like 3-4 days away. You're gonna die if you don't.
Whew, amen to that. And Scorpio is a water sign.
Fixed water.
Deep depths. Yeah.
Pressure water. Pressure cooker water.
Shout out to my lady.
Hey now. Hey, I guess the power of your voice is coming from the heart. Yeah. All right, thank y'all for being in the chat. So, hey, what's our next one?
Water.
All right, give it to me. We got water. So we did the first 3 elements, check the timestamps. We got water now.
Now you got fire, you got air. The air is gonna rage that fire. In order to keep the air in control, you need water. Now, water is the intermediary between air and earth. Water rules emotions. Water rules vibes. Water rules the aspect of life that you can feel. merging, formlessness, no boundaries. Water is what allows you to become anything, because water takes the shape of whatever container it's in. Water can flow or it can crash. Water can be a dangerous tsunami, or water could be the lifeblood of peoples and civilizations. Water can be anything. When water is kept still and it doesn't move, it gets dirty just by nature of existence. And when water gets moving and flowing, it's abundant. When water flows too much, now you got a tsunami and uncontrollable water. So that same lifeblood is now death through drowning. And we said we want to surf the waves of life. We don't want to get caught up in it. We don't want to drown in the waters of our emotions. But it's important to understand that water is what keeps the fire and the air in check, because it balances fire, which is will, and air, which is thoughts, by emotions. Water is emotion. Water is the flow of your emotional states. It's what colors your experience. We've all met those people who are really robotic, who are just like thinking, talking, monotone in my own little world. And I'm only going to say what I say, and I'm not open to anybody else's opinions. There's no emotion there. There's no empathy there. There's no connection. There's no bonding. Water is the element of relationships. Water is what allows connection to happen. Water is what allows you to step beyond your boundaries of self, aka ego. You transcend ego through water. You transcend ego through emotions. And the emotion is what gives you access to things beyond yourself, beyond your personal box. Your personal box is fire and it's air. It's will and then mentality. Once you're in the realm of emotion, you no longer have your personal will only. Now you're open to every experience that water can give you, any emotion, the whole range of emotions. Now you're open to that. And that's what allows you to stabilize and not become too fiery, too airy, or too egoic. It won't make you out of touch, because water is what connects you to the things around you, people, objects, and the things around you. Water, when you're in water, you don't try to move through it with force. You will drown in water. You have to let the water let you float. You have to surrender to water. You can't control your emotions. You must work with your emotions. You must allow them to be, and you must surrender them. The more gentle you are with your emotions, the easier it is to control them. So there's a place for will, there's a place for air, and there's definitely a place and need for water. The power of water is connection. The power of water is embodying truths beyond yourself, beyond your personal will and ego. And also, it's how we know things intuitively. Water is intuition. Water is what allows you to sense things that are not physically or mentally connected to you. It's a vibration. Water receives vibration. That's why you can charge water with the intention. You know, you see in Masaru Emoto's water experiments where he screams and yells and says, "I hate you," into water, versus says he smiles, gives loving intention and praise to the water. When you take the water of each kind, one is negative vibration, the other one is positive vibration, you freeze the water. The negative vibrations form incoherent crystals in the freezing structure. It's very messy. It's not symmetric. The good vibrations and the good vibes water, when you freeze it, it becomes perfectly crystal lattice, perfect sacred geometry. So think about a snowflake. Snowflake is completely symmetrical. That only happens because it's positively charged. It's nature's positive charge on that. If you give bad information or bad vibes to water, it remembers it. That's why water is very sacred in many cultures. Holy water. Why the hell is water holy? It's because you can bless it and charge it with goodwill. And then the person who drinks it takes it on and becomes it. And then you can increase that vibration into your being by nature of drinking the water. So that's the power of water. It's connection, empathy, formlessness, and the ability to do whatever's necessary in the moment. Flow from this to that to that. And that's what allows you to grease the ego. When you have emotions, you can grease the ego to move gracefully instead of through only willpower and only destruction. Now you can commingle with other people. You can use your ego with other people rather than against other people. Because if you empathize with somebody, you're feeling their emotions as you. You're feeling your vibe as their vibe, and their vibe is your vibe. Their waters become your waters. They are all connected. So that's what allows you to be connected.
Bro, I got questions, yo. I'm excited.
Let's go.
My man that came out here, Sagittarius, he came out here, guru, status. Thank y'all for those thumbs up. I want to say appreciate you for liking and supporting the channel. I got a question. That was dope. So you said that one of these guys did an experiment where he would yell and put hate into water.
Him and his whole team, so many people.
Okay, so what happened next?
So they would charge cups of water with vibrations of hate, envy, you know, anger, I hate you, saying phrases and sentences and words with that energy. Sure. And also the negative, also the positive side also, like, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you. You're so cool, you give so much life. And then they took that water, which is still in liquid form, and they freeze it. Freeze the water. There's a whole book on this. It's called Masaru Emoto's water experiment or something of the nature. If you look up that name, you'll find it. So they freeze the water and they look at the water crystals under a microscope. All of the negatively charged water is what creates all this disharmonious, ugly looking, evil, asymmetrical type of crystals in the water structure. The molecules get put together in asymmetrical ways. That's corrupted, it's chaos, it's not orderly. And then you take the positively charged water under a microscope after it's frozen, and then it's perfect crystal structure, everything symmetrical. That shows you that goodwill and love and good vibrations is the order that keeps the universe together at the highest level, because water even obeys it. Molecules obeys it.
Wow. That's badass, homie.
Yeah. And what the moon controls the water on Earth. The moon charges your emotions. That's why your moon sign is your emotional health, your emotional world, your inner world, your being. So it all has to do with each other.
You know why that's amazing? So my partner's a Mexican bruja, right? And I can't tell you how many times she and I have flushed water down toilets after ceremonies and spells and rituals. Water set aside. You just help me understand it. I know that we don't break the water rule. I know that without a doubt. When you mess with the water and we're transferring energy into the water, we don't break it. You just help me understand scientifically on a whole nother level about what came more intuitively, and it's just a part of my own practices as a shaman. This shit is crazy. You're fucking with my mind in all the right ways. I'm really happy right now. Like if you, oh my God, bro. Now I'm gonna ask you, because you're the guru on here today, right? You're out here teaching all of us, and everybody give him some love in the chat. All right. Go ahead and energetically, we just proved what energy can do. I want you to energetically drop some positive emojis, drop some love. If you can't even comment, just send him a thought, a positive thought. Send him some of your prosperity today. Just wish well on this man right here. Help Neeraj and wish well on him. Just send him positive vibes and let him refill energetically. We have so much divine feminine on this channel. Help him to rejuvenate, help him to refill. Thank you. That's amazing, homie.
Thank you.
No, absolutely. That's amazing. That is so impressive. I'm gonna drop his website here again. If you want to work with him and you're in the process where you want to get some dots connected, he just went ahead and took that moment to prove that he's somebody you want to check out. And I want to send you hella love on that right before the Scorpio eclipse. So check him out. Check his
Real
Instagram
quick.
at the barest minimums. Yeah, what up?
I was just gonna say, if my website's bugging out for any reason, just hit me on the Instagram.
Hit him on Instagram. You know, Instagram just works at the end of the day. Like, you can always contact somebody. I think his Instagram is really where you're gonna be able to see. He speaks what he's speaking now daily. This man is a wealth of information, wealth of knowledge. You wanna live a positive life, honestly, rock with him. So
thank you.
No, real shit. So you kind of already like spoke the weakness of water right in it, right? Like, I don't know if you want to like.
Yeah, let's get a little bit.
You want to clarify weakness a little bit on purpose?
Yeah.
Right. Hit me.
So the strengths and weaknesses of anything is the same thing. It's always a double-edged sword. The strength of water is connection and unity. It's connection and feeling. Now, the weakness of water is the same thing. When you got too much emotion, without control, and this is going to lead me into our next element, when you have too much water without personal control or without knowing your boundaries, then you can't actually know who you are. You're getting pulled around left and right by whatever vibe is near you. It's inherently feminine because the feminine is receptive and submissive. Masculine is intentional and is giving. It's penetrating. Now, too much water is the person who can't make up their mind, can't stay calm, the person who cannot put their emotions to the side temporarily, the one who cannot act outside of their emotional state at the moment, and will always be at the mercy of that. No discipline at all. So discipline is the opposite of water. Discipline is more grounded, so earthly. And water is the dimension of increase and of flow and vibes. Good vibes, man. Yeah, but when those vibes are bad, then you're going to stay trapped. If you don't know how to anchor yourself into something real, aka our next element, then you're going to be stuck in your emotional world. And these emotional worlds are going to charge your life. And as we know, the universe does not respond to what we think. It responds to how we feel. So if your feelings are all over the place, you're giving up choppy signals to the universe. One day I'm angry. The next moment I'm happy. Then I'm crying. Now I'm sad. Now I feel nothing. Now I feel angry again. Now I am, XYZ. This is like your overtly feminine woman or man.
Wounded feminine.
Wounded feminine. Perfect.
Yeah.
Over water.
Wow, you are describing me in the chat. Damn, you just described so many. We need to put you in the church in a black neighborhood on some real talk. They're all gonna shoot you before you leave the parking lot because you told them.
Exactly. You put me in the hood. I'm out. I'm over.
Bro, you just said so much true. You put me in the hood as a rat. It's like, wait, what? Kill him.
That's why they crucified Jesus, y'all.
I'm playing. They wouldn't really kill you, but they would hate you so much because it'd be so much easier than to have to take in that absolute truth that you just given about water being fixed when it gets stuck and it still gets dirty. We're talking Scorpio water. You're helping me also appreciate that much more again how being a Scorpio rising, having my Pluto in Scorpio as well, having more Scorpio elements just around my chart, right? A lot of Scorpio elements. It's like, thank God I have this Aries fire to push and create pressure on that water when it gets locked up. Because
you need to boil that water.
Yeah, bro. I felt that. I felt boiling water where I got like steam kind of my body and I can't cool down fast enough. It's a part of how these death rebirths happen within me so fast. So it's something I had to learn to like play and navigate with. But you're helping to provide a new perspective of why it's that much more of a gift as a leader.
Yes.
To have something like to help moderate, in a sense, my own like acceptance of my entire self, really, which is what I want to say. Like, and so thank you. I want to say thank you. That's awesome. Wow. You just described.
So welcome.
And we got hella Scorpio writers on this channel. So I know a bunch of motherfuckers are like, I'm going to send this out to all my Scorpio motherfuckers out here. I'm be like, look, you need to watch water section. Okay. It is at 4410 all the way through. Wow.
One more thing about water before we move on. Water is something that is meant to be experienced. You cannot pick up water with your hand, but you can hold it. You can't fight water and run and climb through water, but you can let it carry you. Water is not something like when you're in the shower. Why do people love taking showers? De-stress in the shower, energetic detox in the shower, go have major crazy ideas in the shower. Because when you're under the influence of water, you're supposed to experience everything moment to moment. When you're in the emotion, when you're in the waters, there is no destination. It's simply the moment. It's simply experience. That's when you're in an emotion and you try to control it too much, you get stuck there because you must embody it and live it. You must. That's why water is life, because water allows you to live in the moment. Water is what brings you back to moment experience. That's why everybody loves de-stressing in water. Water takes your energy.
I had to hit you with the sound confirmations, bro. I didn't have normally I have my sound bowl I keep my bells on me, but like I gotta make sure that we let some of them nuggets sink in, because this is something that everybody needs to pause and try to really digest what he just said. Because I know that if you weren't listening with full consciousness, which is hard to do, at the sheer volume of the intelligence Neeraj is dropping in a single moment, I need everybody to pause. I need everybody to breathe. Real shit. Right? And make sure that breath is, when we hit it, open the belly. Bring the air down into the gut after the belly expands like a balloon. And then we're going to rise that air up our spine. And many of you have been here, you know it. We're going to let the air, we're going to visualize the air flowing. And notice the natural ease of your ears and your shoulders drop. Your jaw has begun to relax, and your teeth are no longer clenching. We're going to do another breath together. We're going to open our bellies. We're going to expand it without inhaling. Just going to open it like a balloon. And now we're going to take an inhale silently, quietly. And we're going to inhale deep and down into the depths of our gut and our belly. We're going to fill it up with air, and we're going to visualize the air. Now we're going to squeeze our glutes softly and gently propel the air up our spine, past our gut, past our heart, into our heart, around our heart, around our heart, around our heart, open. Through the throat, past the mind, out the head, to the divine.
That was magical.
Bro, this is two fire signs flowing. So understand, whatever prejudices you have of any sign is more than likely inaccurate. So check yourself softly, gently, and start learning how to embrace all the elements in combination, in unison, in synchronicity, so we can actually hear what he said. And if we did, what's the water telling us to do? It's telling us to breathe. It's telling us to slow down and digest and flow, because we can't control. All right, here we go. Wow, that was awesome. Let's do, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up, for being a subscriber. I really appreciate y'all for rocking with the channel, how we run the message. All right, we're gonna bust off on, we got Earth, homie?
Yes, we do.
All right, we got Earth.
And you know what happened to me when you did that? It ballooned the belly and breathe in. That took me right to my root chakra. As you can tell, my voice is different now. I'm now grounded into the root chakra, which is the element of earth.
Come on, son. Hit us with the earth.
Earth is where all of our bodies come from and return to. From the dust you were made, and to the dust you shall return. Not your soul, not your essence, but this body. This belongs to the earth. This is just alone. Earth is the element of physicality. Everything in the physical universe is earth, is the element of earth. It may not be planet Earth only, but everything that is physical and tangible is earth. Earth is stable. Earth is real. Earth is tangible. Earth is methodical and predictable. That's why everything in the physical universe moves in repetitive cycles, whether it's the cycles of the seasons, the water cycle, the cycles of the orbit of the planets around the sun, or it be the cycles of a woman, monthly cycle. Everything physical moves in cycles. And in the ancient Hindu sciences, they called this samsara, or the cyclical movements that create life. This is what creates karma. I'm not going to get too much into that. But everything physical is real. It's grounded. It's material. That's the point. Earth is fixed. Earth, like Taurus, for example, slow and steady, methodical, creation, pleasures. It's everything that has to do with the physical dimension and your physical body. And when you have water that is soothed to fire and the air, that leads you into Earth. And Earth is what grounds you into who you are now. The present moment is Earth. The present experience is the element of Earth. Earth is not only what gives life to all of us and created our bodies, but it's also the foundation for everything that we do, just like the present moment is the foundation for everything that we are. Earth is what allows you to have structure. Earth is discipline. And with structure of actions also comes structure of identity. There is will, but will is impersonal. There is air, but air is fleeting, coming and going. There's water, but as we know, water can flow or it can crash. It's formless. It takes whatever container that you need. But Earth is always the same. Earth is fixed. Earth is always the container that never moves. It's the platform on your ground under your feet that never ever moves. And that is why this planet Earth is our home. This is where we come from. It's where we perform our life. That is the principle of Earth. It is stable. It is certain. It never changes. And this is why men, the masculine, must be grounded. Because in order to create, in order to penetrate, in order to give, you must be grounded in something real and unchanging. The same way that you must be grounded in your higher self, in your higher identity as one with God, you must also be grounded into your root chakra, into your body, your physical body where you live. And you must use that to be here now, to live and operate in this life now. There's people that have great ideas. There's people with a lot of passion. There's people with lots of emotion and empathy. But if you ain't grounded in reality, then you create nothing. This is why people are broke. They ain't grounded in reality. You got a lot of spiritual information, but that ain't going to make shit happen here. Not in this realm. In the mental realm, hell yeah. Higher dimensions, hell yeah. But you are not going to be able to create anything on Earth if you're not grounded in your body, which is the physical element that you possess. That's why health is wealth. So you ain't got physical grounding. You don't have a clean vessel. You don't have an open channel that's strong, flexible, and exerts itself regularly, then you will never be able to live a full life here on Earth.
Shout out to the juice lady who makes orange juice, taranja, and pineapple. Nothing but it. Mm-hmm. Wow. This is super impressive. I'm really, really happy that I followed my own guidance and reached out to you and was like, yo, come to the channel, man. It was a clear, and I had to really be mindful of how I work with and invite people on the channel, because these are my own lessons I had to learn. And I want to say thank you, for being somebody who really came, correct. You came here, you came on the channel proper. You did it. You're really helping my audience and the people learn, which is ultimately the whole reason I created Institute of Life, the company, in the first place. Whole reason why the Astro memberships exist. So I want to say thank you, because, for me, that's just sincere and heartfelt. This is very informative, which now, what's the weaknesses of Earth?
The weaknesses of Earth is all of the 7 deadly sins.
Right.
When you are only operating out of your physical nature, you're an animal.
Sex! I had to yell that for somebody. Sex! Okay. Hey, whoever you are, okay, check in. Lust. And I say that because I definitely got caught by lust. Lust had me by the throat, by the ankles. Lust had me all over the place. So I say that, and it's something that was a journey to really work and heal with myself with that sacral chakra energy. So, there is consequences. So I shoot this out loud in unison with you. Whoever you are, whoever needed to hear that, it's a big one. But I'm gonna let him get back to it. I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
To the point of sex. The reason why you want sex so much, it's not because it feels so good. It's because while you're having sex is the only time you get a glimpse of your water, your emotions. You feel alive during sex. Earth and lust got you to the point of arousal where you kind of got to emotional arousal. That's what you really want.
Right.
You want to be alive emotionally. You want to live a passionate life, but you have blocked off that access because you're afraid of feeling what you got inside you for now. When you open that lockbox up, it's going to flood you. But if you can withstand that initial flood, then you will be blessed with the joys of your own personal emotion, just like you were when you were a little kid, little tiny kid. However, back to Earth. The Earth is what creates a container for things. So you need to fill that container with something. But when you have an empty container, too much Earth and nothing else, you have no substance, no personality. You're just good for doing physical stuff. And that's how you get off. You do physical stuff, but you don't have any richness of life. You don't have real intelligence. This is that dude who's all bronze, but no brain. This is the dude who's all physical, but he doesn't have intelligence that goes beyond the physical. This is too in the physical, it's too 3D. It's not enough. It's not enough of yourself. Like, you're gone. You might have a fraction of ego that rules your life if you're too earthy, but you'll just be caught up in cycles of karma, cycles of habits, cycles. You'll be disciplined, all right, but you'll be disciplined with no real vision. Earth is fixed. It does not have the ability to reach far. So you need both. But Earth by itself is just really stable, really safe, really repeatable. It doesn't change. It can give life, but you need water before anything can grow out the ground. Then you need the sun to power that water. Of course, you need the air. Yeah, so, you know. Yeah.
Wow, that's super potent. Hit the thumbs up if you're rocking and vibing with this message. Definitely support the channel by just hitting that thumb 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Tell your mama to hit it, tell your brother to hit it. Now you know to hit it. All right. Wow, that was super impressive. There's something that I heard which really wasn't on the roster, but you know, I almost want to like challenge you to hit it because it feels important.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to timestamp this one as well, is exactly this: karma. You've spoken of karma a couple times, and it's like, well, everybody hears about karma, but you seem to actually have some intelligence to educate us on karma. And you spoke something about how Earth, maybe when it's in its weak, can create karma. And I actually can see a couple of different realities of that just randomly popped in my head. Can you tell us about karma and your understanding, your take, and how does it play into these elements?
All right. Shout out Sadhguru, the author of the book Karma, A Yogi's Guide to Freedom, Liberation, A Yogi's Guide to Liberation. He put me on game. Karma got everybody fucked up. Excuse my language.
Bro, I know. Yo, I swear to God, if I think about it, this life, I've actually put an active effort at a certain point where now it's just kind of like its almost own stability. That just like, I just fuck with Saturn in all the right ways. Saturn tells me no. I'm like, cool, Saturn, right?
Yes, Daddy.
I'm talking about Big Daddy Saturn in the chat, so that's what made me laugh. I'm like, Big Daddy Saturn, you want to? Yeah, no. I learned to, and I think when everybody goes through their Saturn return, once you turn 29 to 33, everybody learn how to really, really fuck with Saturn. Like, so I say that where I definitely got to that point myself where I was like, look, if anything, it got me straight. If I'm being real, like in a lot of ways, I'm like, look, this is not what I want to fuck with. I'm not going to lie with you. And I feel pretty big, pretty bold in a lot of environments. It's just who I am. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm still a triple Aries. Like, let's be real, guys. Okay, like let's be real. Like I am what I am. And it's like, as a part of that, you know, that's not who I want to fuck with. It's just very simple for me. Like, you don't fuck with Saturn, you know, like you can play around with a lot of planets and they'll just reward you just because they're guys and they're like, they're giving, you know, they're abundant. Like they don't, you know, it's just so much. It's so much. It's like, if you ask, you shall receive. So that was my little take, but hit us on karma. Like what is karma?
I want to say something about Saturn in the Greek and Roman mythos. You know, Saturn or Kronos is the god of time, but he's also the king of the Titans. The the king Kronos or Saturn was afraid that his sons would eventually rise up and kill him because there was a prophecy about that. So he decided to eat his children, which were Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, otherwise known as Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto. I don't know how it all ties in, but I'm hoping you can give some of that. Zeus, Jupiter, escapes. Jupiter does not get eaten. Comes back, he kills his dad, and he frees his brothers. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but I think that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. From the mythology standpoint, there's a video that I've been needing to make, and like the gods are pushing it on me to make this video, and it is about Capricorn.
Ooh.
Capricorn is the sea goat, and there's a very mythological story knowing that Capricorn is like ruled by Saturn, right? So it's ruled by Kronos. But it's, Saturn is obviously bigger. It's the governing body. But there's a tremendous story about how cardinal Earth, right? New Earth that literally does push forward for new. Because I was thinking at one point, like, how does Earth play into Capricorn, right? Because Capricorn is what? The mountain goat. So when Earth quakes, it collides, and water can do that, right? Like wind can do that, winds cuts mountains. So it can then create enough of a split so that Earth can collide. And it splashes up into a mountain, right? Among other different elemental shits like erosion and so much more. But it's like, there's a long story that today I can't tell it. It's a video I have to make very separate. But deeper than that, Zeus is Jupiter. So Zeus is Jupiter. And Jupiter and Saturn, no one really talks about Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn don't fuck with each other, okay? This is one of the simplistic reasons why. Jupiter and Saturn does not like each other. Like, Jupiter is all about, I want more, and Saturn is like, we want to work with less. Period. So Zeus is like high Sagittarius ego. No disrespect. It's like in general, like Zeus is high Sagittarius ego, right? Like this is the guru, this is the teacher. And it has the power to take out somebody like Saturn. But taking out order is not really what we want, right? Like people want to say something like defund the police, for example. Quite frankly, the police are fucking wild in the US. They need to chill. All right, I'm gonna be honest. Now, as a part of that, at the same time, without rule, it's not defunding them. It's the morals of the police, So morals is Jupiter. Morals is Jupiter in its high form because Jupiter is shared with Pisces. And so, now we're talking, so the mythology goes on and on and on, right? Like you have to add Pisces, which is ether. We're coming closer to the answer ether later. But just to kind of finish that, I'm going to let you kind of finish up the karma part of the story because we can get in there. You're giving me ideas. I want to start getting into talking about these mythologies. And like, this is what I'm doing more in the astrology memberships on the back end. So everybody stay tuned more for like November and a half. Okay. It's like November 23rd. These are really more when the launch dates are. So it's like, I'm actually I'm in my earth, I'm in my wind, right? Like my fire is down. It's like, fire, you chill. We got to see where we're going to blast off. And you see the pencil, it has not left my hand. All right. So tell us about karma. I'm going to say like karma part 2. Tell us about karma.
Karma in Sanskrit, which is the language from which karma comes from, in its origin, karma means one thing: action. Karma literally means action. Now, most people think karma has something to do with action and punishment, or consequences. This is kind of right. It's not that you do something good and good things will happen to you, or you do something bad, and then bad things will happen to you. No. Action, in and of itself, completes the whole span between cause and effect. This just means, karma just means whatever you cause, you will experience the effect of it. That's all. That doesn't mean there's a universal God punishing you for things you did bad. It's not like you're a sinner, so you're going to go to hell. No, karma just means whatever you sow, so shall you reap. And karma is an act of momentum. Whatever karmas you have, you are now under the influence of momentum in that action. Habits are a form of karma. The human birth and death cycle is a form of karma. It's a progression we have invested ourselves into. In order to come incarnate into this physical reality, which is very dense, remember, everything in the physical reality moves in cycles. The orbits of the sun and cycle, everything. Like, the weather. Just like that. Humans move in cycles, spirals, if you will, but cycles. And that in and of itself is karma. In order to be free from karma, you must be detached from this body. This is how people leave their body consciously. They resolve their karma. Sadhguru says we all have a karmic storehouse that stores the karma of our entire soul's journey. And on Earth, we have an ability to physicalize all of our karma, all of the actions and intentions we have sown. And we can reap them in the physical and deal with it here, thus erasing the karma of many lifetimes. That's why we come here to Earth, to have fun and to resolve karma. Now, here's the thing. Action in and of itself, action is not only physical action. That's just one kind of action. Let's say you go kill somebody. That's a physical karma. You created that action. However, there's also mental action. I am thinking of killing somebody. That has its own momentum and its own things, its own influence over your will. Then you have levels to it, like premeditated murder. The more you focus on the murder, is it like maybe you're just angry and you just think about killing somebody? Or maybe it's a crime of passion in the moment, like boom. Oh, you cheated on me? I'm gonna stab you. And you do. That's a different kind of karma than I'm going to premeditate first-degree murder somebody. Okay? The action, emotional action, mental action, physical action, and lastly, energetic action. People want to know what black magic is all about. Black magic or white magic, whatever, is simply energetic action. You're moving energy around. Energetic action is the highest form of karma because energy commands everything. This earth plane physically is just a small layer. The emotions and mental have more karma. This is why you have cyclical thoughts, repeating thought patterns, repeating emotional states, repeated life events. You are under the influence of karma, aka momentum, of your actions that you have taken in these realms, and they create the story of your life. The events that play out in your life, in your inner world and outer world, are the manifestations of your personal action on the level of mind, emotion, energy, and physical. Everything that repeats is a karmic cycle that has different levels of intensity. And when you can understand what and how they are created, you can decide to change the cycle, aka break the habit, and then you can create a new one. Or you can resolve all of your karma entirely, and you can leave this body and return to the higher dimensions. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on here. But that's what it is.
Right. And this is essentially people killing themselves, not being able to handle the amount of karma. They're like, look, we gotta just start a new spiral.
Yep.
Because this is as much as we could take in this life.
You just start again.
As well as on the more positive note, like someone fulfilling their karma and not needing to stay there, they could just go.
Mm-hmm. Like somebody who has a habit of smoking, for example, or any habit, maybe it's even the habit of a good habit. Like I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning is what I do. I made a decision that was emotionally charged to create a new life for myself. Decided to wake up at 5, go to sleep at 10. Now, when I wake up and I decide to do that, that decision is an energetic decision made by my conscious will. And now that will became a thought form. That thought form became an emotion. That emotion became a physical action. Now I am underneath the influence of that karmic loop. Now I'm under the karmic loop of waking up at 5 a.m. And the longer I do it, the more momentum I have. The longer you keep up the habit, the longer and the more powerful the karma is. That doesn't mean that you can't resolve it, because if you know how to command your energy, you can end the karmic loop instantaneously. You don't got to do it. People got problems with habits when they work on the level of the physical or the mental or emotional. Energy supersedes all. If you get energy healing done or energy work done, shout out astrotherapist, angelic Reiki. If you do that, then you can stop a lot of karmic loops instantaneously. And you'll still have some play out in the rest of your life because of energetic, like memory, physical momentum. But once that momentum runs out, you can start fresh. And you will never have to deal with that shit again.
Bro, again, I appreciate you on the Angel Reiki fucking shout out. Because again, understand what this man is saying. Thank you. He's giving me a day off and he's hitting it from an angle that I've never spoke from. And this is the beauty of leaders coming together, forming, uniting, using the water and positivity with the two fires. Understand, we have God level fire inside of us. Do you understand what this means? But the flow is to be able to easily give the respect. Because again, masculine, like he said in this positive, is giving. Right? Like a prime example, like when I'm in more hurt, masculine, wounded stages of my life, I'm like, I'm not giving you shit.
Yeah.
Literally, like I'm not giving you nothing. And the positive, healthy form of masculine is like to be able to give. And as well, give from a place of security, not from a place of needing validation, because that's where you fuck up, right? Energetically, you can't fool energy. This is where karma is the Saturn. This is why Saturn is a part of karma, because Saturn's going to catch everything. Mm-hmm. You can't fool energy. There's no loophole. You can't hop out. Saturn will catch it all, and it will discipline you as the authoritarian, but from a feminine and a masculine perspective, Capricorn and Aquarius. And you can't outdo Aquarius, who knows all. It's impossible. So literally, we're checked on karma. Did we get the karma message as we move to ether? Don't fuck with karma. Okay.
You can fuck with karma if you have enough energy to expand beyond it, aka Jupiter. Jupiter is expanse and supercharging. The only reason he was able to overthrow his father, Saturn, is because he was able to get his power level beyond Saturn's reach and then kill him from being bigger than him. But then you have chaos. So now Jupiter, the expansion, has to have something to create a new form of order. You can never escape Saturn. You can never escape karma. But you must decide which karma you want and which one you don't want, but you can't escape it. Only chaos, only nothingness, formlessness, the void can be devoid of karma. But anything that is manifest at any level must be under the influence of order. That is why there's Father, God.
Bro, this is awesome, right? So this is why Jupiter is one of the houses that represents and rules foreign law, as well as like international diplomacies and checking countries, things like your Ukraine and Russia, holy shit, and Russia. And then you got, really just to spread the love, you got Hong Kong and China, and the oppression happening between two, and them snatching a country or snatching a livelihood out. Spread the love. Bro, it's like, right? You got wild stuff happening, to the women in the Israeli, Middle Eastern cultures.
Yeah.
All right. The Palestinians, how long have they been suffering? This is Jupiter. And this is how it pays back that karma from essentially defeating Kronos and creating something so much more expansive as for the amount of energy he had to require to expand beyond, like he said, which is that's the karma that Jupiter chose, which it has to essentially continuously and forever expand. And this is what Jupiter does. It does not stop. So that's like, it's karma in its own way. Like it can never stop. And this is like, we look at Sag and Pisces, right? You have to understand how Sagittarius and Pisces plays in these energies, where they're mutable energies, mutable water, which nobody knows what the fuck that means, okay? Because that's the next level of ether. That's the next level of ether, all right? That's like ether on crack, because you got ether from air. That's a different level, all right? But then now you're also talking mutable fire. So we're talking the most creative and destructive thing that's also mutable. And we spoke about earlier in the fire section, well, what happens when something cannot be given a certain sense of substance? But the fire and the water are doing it for each other. Yeah, there's a certain type of pressure. There's a certain type of pressure.
It's a bondage of sorts. Yeah, man. It's a game and a dance that must be played to create anything. That's what creation is. It's a dance between those two forces. You can't have one without the other.
Absolutely. So that's super cool. Thank you. That's super informative. Yo, hit us with the last one, ether, bro. And as we do, I said I was gonna get your Instagram last time. I didn't. I'm gonna get it now. So I'm gonna get his Instagram. I'm gonna drop his Instagram on there. I want you to check him there next. Hit him with a follow AF. All right, I'm gonna put it in the description as well. And here's what we got. Hit us with the ether, bro.
Ether is something that is difficult to speak of because it is not something at all. Ether is nothing. Ether is the understanding, the principle of nothing. It is the void. It does not exist. It has no form. You can't even say that it has no form because it's not even there. Now, ether is the prerequisite for all creation. All the other four elements dance upon the foundation that ether has built. Now, ether is the void, and the void is the nothing from which the something will arise. In the ancient Egyptian mythos, they said first there was the sea of chaos, aka the void, nothingness, complete chaos. It's literally no order at all, which means it doesn't really exist. And within that came order, the first law, Mayat. Now, this order created structure in the chaos, and it gave it form. But this chaos is always there. This chaos, this ether, this akasha, will always be the beginning and the end of creation. So think about ether as the ocean and the other four elements as waves upon that ocean. They're all the ocean. Every element is ether made manifest in different ways. And the ether, the void, is conscious. It is alive. It is the energy of sentience. We are ether. When you say I am and you know that you exist, you are actually empty space, conscious, aware, empty space. That's why consciousness is not localized. Consciousness is one, and it is everywhere and everyone at once. Because if there's no order, that means there's no this or that. It's simply all is one. This is why everything is one. This is why the smallest, lowest dimension and the highest dimension is the same. This is why God is everything. And that's why we're all connected. It's because we are ether itself. And the ether is aware. It is what creates sentience. So awareness and non-awareness, the same thing. In the Hindu mythos, we call this two principles, Shiva and Shakti, masculine and feminine, Purusha and Prakriti. Masculine is the awareness. It knows everything. This is represented by Shiva. Shiva means that which is not. Shiva, two words, Shiva. That means that which is not, does not exist. That is why it knows everything, because it's boundless. The only way to be boundless is to not exist. But it is aware, yet again. But in order for that awareness to take form and become something, it requires its counterpart, Shakti, which is the feminine. It is the creation. One commands and the other one becomes. The masculine decides and the feminine becomes. That is why your imagination is what creates reality, in the words of Neville Goddard. This is why law of attraction works. This is how you create reality. This is how God created reality. You make a decision with your consciousness. You have a will, and then that will becomes manifested via your counterpart as creation. So ether is the boundless dimension. That's it. When you access ether, you have infinite energy because it's energy from the ether. It's nothing. You're literally pulling nothing out of something. Everybody thinks this is a quantum energy. To get physical with you, ether is the quantum field, pure potentiality. Ether is God. God is infinity because God is everything and nothing. In order for God to experience anything, it must forget that it is infinity and embody a specific identity of me or you or anybody, the tree, the cat, the air, the mountain, the planets, the space. Everything is God, the infinity, that is deciding to play a role as only itself. I am Neeraj. You are astrotherapist Pernell Bobby. And we are all one, but we have decided temporarily to forget our totality and play a small role to experience what it means to be only this. That's why the whole rainbow has 7 colors, but you can only see that rainbow as separate colors when it goes through a water crystal in the air, because all light is white light. It has no color. It's everything. However, when you have blue or red or green, you can only experience red because blue exists. You can only experience blue because green exists. You cannot have one without all of them, but all of them together is white light, purity. That's why God is the light, because it's all vibrations, all spectrums. And you cannot experience the color red or the vibration of red without saying, I choose to be red by cutting off my connection to orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. That is what develops the first will of fire. When ether, which is everything, the white light, becomes a will, fire, then it decides to be the color it chooses. And by nature of that, it decides to section off from the rest of the light spectrum. I only understand red. And now I think thoughts with the vibration of red, air, that fuels my will. Then I feel feelings and emotions based on my personal will, which is my water. And then I take on a form that is in agreement with my personal will that I've chosen. That is earth. And now I come back together and I become the avatar as the pure color red. And from that completion, I can become the other colors of the rainbow and back to white light, which is the avatar state. It's everything all over again. It's a cycle. I am everything. I pretend to be something. Then I max out that something. And then at the maximum something, I become nothing again, because now I'm everything. And then I do it again with the color orange, then again with the color yellow, then blue, then green, then so on and so forth. And that's what we all do. This lifetime, I'm spinning around as Neeraj. In another one, I'm Bobby. In another one, I'm Michael.
Yeah, you got people raving in the chat right now, saying that this is the best day of their life. You got people also quoting things out of from their Kabbalah class, as well as saying, look, we're all connected. So energetically, we're right here in the same avenues. So that's dope. Blast off. Absolutely. Absolutely. No. Do you think? So here's something I definitely want to introduce. I'm going to ask if you know about it as well, and they're different, because I wouldn't be surprised. It resonates, and it shows up in the form of dielectricity and force, or like magnetism. Have you heard about magnetism, force, dielectricity, and the black light?
Dielectricity, I don't know anything about. I just heard about it, but I'm familiar with magnetism.
What about magnetism? How does it play a role? If you look at the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer, it makes this, in a sense, infinite.
Yes.
8. And this will tell you the time of the astrological wheel as well. They all sit on a different element of that line doing this infinite 8. What can you tell us about magnetism in general?
Magnetism is positive and negative.
I'm taking a bathroom break. I can hear you though.
Okay, word. Sup, everybody? It's you and me now. Excuse me a moment, guys. We're going to wait till Astrotherapist is back. Thank you for being patient. Thank you guys for being patient. I wish I could see your guys' chats, but I can't. Was good.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, we waited for you.
Forgive me on that. Okay, I'm glad because I want to hear. Ooh, bathroom break. We got to get all the energy, all this water out.
Real. I'm trying to figure out how I don't have to go yet. I'm just in the zone, I suppose.
Yo, you're tapped in, yo. Stay there. All right, here we go. So magnetism. Yeah. What we got on magnetism? 140.35. That's my time check. Go ahead. I'm ready.
The law of magnetism is the law of creation. There is a positive force and a negative force, and they're polar opposites. Now, the reason why positive and negative forces attract each other is because they need each other to exist. They are the one force that is polarized in different directions, aka yin and yang, positive and negative, masculine and feminine. These are the two principles of creation, and with it, everything is coming. Power, electricity, and conscious life force is created. All power is created by the dance between positive and negative, masculine and feminine. It's in between those things that power gets generated. It's in between the transfer between positive and negative, masculine and feminine, that power is generated on the journey. That is also why friction creates heat or creates energy, because when you rub the energies together, the opposing energies, then you create a spark. That spark can be channeled into whatever you like. And that's why everything and every atom is polarized positively or negatively. Every molecule is polarized positively or negatively. There are some which are neutrally balanced. Yes, there are some that are not ions. However, everything in creation is polarized to some nature, and that's how it's supposed to be. The only thing that is not polarized is nothingness. It is not polarized because it's not relative to anything else. Everything that is in creation is only created in relativity to something else. That means you must have left to have right. You must have up to have down. You must have positive to have negative. So that's what I know about magnetism, is that they imply each other because they're the two variations of creation. And between those two poles, you have stuff happen. You have energy, you have events, you have potential between those two things.
And so this kind of goes into the, I'm not going to get crazy into it because it's not my research, it's not my science. It's just to inform you to be able to go ahead and look and find it in your own. If anything, I could probably drop a link on it. I just don't know which one I watched. I know I watched a couple, to be honest. This is where like the dielectric begins to take place when you add the elements of everything we spoke of today, all the fire signs, the air signs, the wind signs, the water signs. We talked karma, we talked ether, we talked magnetism. You didn't wake up this morning thinking you're going to get hit with this much knowledge.
No, I didn't. I didn't even.
Bro, you have something called the dielectric or the black light, which in its sense, it's like, if you look in Italy, for example, Black Jesus was the original Jesus. So we spoke of the white light as like literal embodiment of God. And now you have the white light, you have the white Jesus. But including in some of the oldest of architects, let's say Italy in this example, because I know for sure, you have the Black Jesus. And you still can see that today. Mm-hmm. But what's the global narrative? This is where Mars squares Neptune. This type of information. Look, just because we're having to talk about this doesn't, about the 5 elements does not mean that transit stopped, right? This is a prime example of Mars squaring Neptune. Deception through media, deception through voice, through storytelling, right? One person tell a story, the next person tell a story, the next person tell the story is wildly different, even one person prior, especially the next person after. You feel me? And so I'm gonna leave it alone there. But all the principles actually remain the same because you can't tell an effective lie without the truth. Same principles here.
Wow.
Same principles right here, positive, negative, right? Masculine, feminine. This is why cosmic sexuality is one of the things that exists on my channel. Why? Because everybody understands sexuality, or at least they think they do. And as a part of it, it's no different than what we're talking about with this right now, magnetism and force. How did you word it, Neeraj, when you said the man makes a command and the woman becomes it?
The man makes a decision, and then the woman becomes it. A real feminine woman wants to be submissive to the man, not because she's weak, but because she trusts him. Exactly. And because her ability to be formless like water needs a firm command, which is trustworthy, to shape her into whatever they have agreed to become. So the man has to be a clear channel so that he knows the truth. And it's his job to be the truth so that he can have his lady mirror him and become the truth as well. Exactly.
So that man now self-destructs. He also had an impure intention.
That's right. At some level. It may not be conscious.
Yeah, it may not be fully conscious. So now the man is bitching that his woman is bitching. Guess what? He put some bitchy type energy in her.
Yeah. You ask any woman you want. No woman wants a bitchy man. No feminine woman wants a bitchy pushover man or a man who complains and whines and don't take responsibility. Nobody wants a man who isn't certain of himself. You want a building with bad structural integrity? That's a bitchy man. You can't build a very big building, can you? Take the wrong step, now you're falling through the roof.
Yeah, that's absolute. And
yeah,
this is the beautiful way to see it on another way around. So if anything, I think the only thing we did not cover is what might be the potential weakness of ether.
Ether's beyond that. Ether just don't exist, bro. Ether just don't exist. There is no weakness. It doesn't have a form, so it doesn't have a positive or negative side. It's pure potential. It's the merger of positive and negative. So there isn't a negative because there isn't a positive. It's simply pure nothing, and nothing is everything. Think about it. You can move so fast that you can't, look, if you look at my screen, I can move my hand so fast that my hand can disappear. If I move it fast enough, you won't even see it because it's moving so fast. It's outside of your visual spectrum. Can't see it no more. Or my hand can just not exist, and now you can't see it. They're both the same thing. Immense speed or no movement at all is how you get to infinity. All the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. This is why the negative side even exists. This is why demons exist. This is why hell is a certain vibration. Because you cannot have the heavens without the hells. I'm not talking about the place you go after you die. It's completely different. I'm talking about the energy of the heavens and the higher dimensions versus the lower dimensions. If you go all the way down to the evilest of evil, the most low vibration, you get stillness. If you go all the way to the highest of high vibrations, you get stillness. One is stillness through no movement, which is evil or negative. And then you have stillness through immense movement, which is positive or good. And both of those get you back to stillness, which is no movement, which is infinity. You can reach infinity in two ways. That's why you can reach the meditative state in two ways, either through incredible movement, incredible amounts of movement, or no movement at all. You can meditate and hit the meditative state of consciousness, either by sitting still and not moving and doing it like Buddha did it, or you can hit a meditative state by having so much intense focus and so much movement that you hit the meditative flow state like an athlete who's in the zone. It takes two types, and one is not enough. It's both. You must not adhere to one or the other. You have to know how to use your darkness and your light. You have to know how to use your will, power, movement, and your surrender, stillness. You need to use both. That's how you master life. You get both. You need every tool in your arsenal, not just one. Can't just be all goody spiritual. You can't be all darkness demon. You have to be both. So I like Jordan Peterson says, you're not a good man if you're not capable of doing harm. The only way to be a good man is to be a monster or have the capacity to be a monster. and then decide not to use them. If you have no ability to harm people and you're just being nice, that's your nice guy, pushover, bitch. But if you can be a deadly weapon and you decide to be a peaceful man, now you're a good man because you decided to be good. If you're good because you can't be bad, then you're not really good. This is why shamans must train in the dark arts as well as the light arts. You need both. You need to know how to do both.
I started in the dark arts and I didn't even know it.
Yep, Miss Bruja over there. She knows it's good.
Bro, you know what I really enjoyed? You brought a new perspective to me with the speed between, because it's funny because my partner is still like, she practices without even practicing as a Pisces, not moving an inch, bro. like when she doesn't move, when she's still. And me, I'm like Aries, I'm like, I'm always moving. And like, so it's really ironic. I'm seeing it.
Wait, she's a Pisces?
Pisces.
You're Aries, number 1 zodiac. She's Pisces, the last one. You guys are both the same. Fire water.
I know. Yo, it gets more trippy because her degrees are in my houses, in my sun. Her sun is in my son's houses as well. And my sun is in her Pisces sun. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's literally like when you get into the degree point theory behind astrology, it's like I have Pisces in multiple of my Aries. So it's embedded in it, like me, myself. So it's like my Aries sun is embedded into my Pisces, which is also functioning through my Leo. 3 times over in different ways. And so it's really ironic to say that because when I see this and I understand how her and I in unison are reaching ether in a very applicable manner. Like you made it very applicable. It's like, because I mean, it's just happening anyway. So it's like, I was just given a nugget. One that I've been trying to crack without even really trying hard. I've been like really just kind of like magnetizing it towards me, if I'm being honest, practicing my Pisces, like literally me practicing more of my Pisces rather than my Aries, which is right within my sun as an Aries. And it's changing the game because it's literally right there in my chart. So, but it has to be practiced, right? Like, so I'm practicing not moving an inch, not staying still, because me reaching the ether in the later half of the year, it's more important the way my placements are to embrace these more hidden forms of wealth, like the wealth within my own emotional well of richness, if you will. And that's just how my chart sits with it. And it's requiring that Piscean degree rather than my Aries. So it's what you said earlier with the water god. It's my guys recently came to me and they told me to drown in water. And that's the why. It's just like drowning the feminine, basically, which is me, myself.
Man.
So yeah, man, this is an absolutely fucking fabulous discussion today, man. I really hope I'm gonna make sure we try to do some extra promotion and get it out there. I think I copy and pasted one more time his Instagram. Check his Instagram really today. That's gonna bring this thing to a conclusion on the 555 mark.
Ooh.
Big motherfucking change on the horizon. Okay, coming through your ear. Oh, 5-5s. My bad. I missed those. So big change. Listen, what do you want us to know as to finish this message off? Like, how do you want to fully take it home? You said everything you did. Quite frankly, it's going to be timestamped, everybody. If you missed the fire, the air, the water, excuse me, the earth, the karma, the ether, the magnetism, okay, and the weakness of each and every one of those. If you missed it, it's going to be timestamped. Where do you want to take us, Neeraj?
You know, everybody got their life. Everybody has their own style. The whole point of this entire talk was to help you understand who you are and what your style is so you can max out. Make sure you own your style and you do it right. Do justice by your creation, by your design. do justice by your elemental combination. Are you more mental? Are you more emotional, more physical, more passionate, more willful? Or are you somebody who's really tapped in with the ethers and consciousness? Whatever it is, master that. Learn all of the elements. Learn how to bring all of that into your life at the way that you like to do it. And be one with yourself so you can be one with everything. And that is how you can do the best service and have the most fun. Because ain't nobody say that you can't do God's work and have fun doing it. You don't have to choose one or the other. Do God's work, have fun. That's it. Do you to the fullest, and you will do God's work. And then we'll all have fun together. New Earth, baby.
Bro, I'll be having fun to the max. It took me time to realize how not normal that was. If I'm being honest, I didn't recognize it as a strength. Like, and this is kind of where sextiles and trines can blind people, right? Like I have some trining energy comes from my Aries. I have a fifth house stellar, and that's the house of fun. So 3 times 3 planets in the fifth house, and it's like, but I didn't see what other people could see about that. For me, it's just considered this is my day. This is my day. So it's almost like I almost took it for granted, also through ignorance.
Hey, yeah, yep.
I'm gonna give them an outro. Out. Check his Instagram, y'all. I'll see you soon.